Hey guys, this is Gianluca from offroadtents.com and offroadtents.com.au. So today we're going to do a quick review, product review of the ARB base rack. So this is a roof rack or cab rack in this specific case that we offer from ARB for a bunch of different vehicles. This particular case, it's sitting above an Isuzu D-Max pickup truck, but as I just said, it comes in different sizes, widths, and lengths for different vehicles. For example, for the Toyota Tacoma, it comes in two different sizes, so it can be the longer or the what they would ARB refers as the narrow. So the wider or longer rack comes with a 49 inches of length and 51 inches of width, whilst the narrow is 49 by 45. So you can get different sizes depending on the vehicle that you own. You just need to purchase the vehicle specific or search for the vehicle specific base rack. Now, we will take a look at the base rack. I'm going to give you some background things of what we really like, other things that we feel that other roof racks could be slightly better. But, you know, this is a product review, so we need to give both sides of the story to kind of like give you the great side of it and what is the slightly less great side of it. So the first thing, this is a fully welded aluminum platform rack. Fully welded aluminum, so it means it's going to be much easier for you to install once you receive it, because you're not looking at different, slats that you need to attach to the rack itself. So the whole part of installing it over your roof is going to be slightly faster, slightly easier. One of the drawbacks, if you can see it that way, is that it doesn't give you the possibility of removing slats if you want to. Personally, I don't like to remove slats ever. I just think, unless you have like a sunroof and you want to open it, there's no real reason for it. But I do understand that there's other people that prefer removing the slats. In this case, you can't. The good thing is that ARB now has these slats that are horizontal, which means they go from side to side. So as I was saying, the slats go from side to side, which makes it, in my opinion, much easier to install pretty much anything you want over the roof. That means from rooftop tents to even just kayaks, boards, whatever you wanna add to them. The horizontal slats allow you to easily clip onto them, and now most of the rack accessories and mounts of different items are made on purpose so that you mount them on horizontal slats. Now, before we go into looking at it and seeing some of the cool things that this vehicle has over the base rack, I'm going to go over a few of the things that we like about them. So, first of all, it has a 275-pound dynamic weight rating. So that means that when you're driving, it has 275 pounds of capacity. That's a lot, and it's more than enough for anything that you can possibly imagine mounting up there. So from a tent to even the heaviest of cargo, 275 pounds of dynamic load rating. That's when you're driving, and that kind of triples when it's static. So just imagine it can hold anything up there. It's a very sturdy, very well built, and very durable and reliable roof rack. So we highly recommend the base rack if you're intending to carry heavy cargo. Now, the side rails or side mounts depend a little bit on the roof of the vehicle that you own. In this case, as I said, this is the Isuzu D-Max, so they mount directly with bolts onto the factory mounting points of the roof. So it does require some knowledge of tools and hardware tools. If you don't have that knowledge, perhaps you want to mount it with an expert, but if you have it, it's not a difficult thing to do. Some vehicles you're going to have to remove either the side rails, if there's any, or just the side track channel in the vehicle roof. You will find that there's going to be factory mounting points, and you're going to install it on top of them, and that's going to be it. You're just going to tighten the bolts, and that's more than enough. And it is a really sturdy rack. Now, if we come here to the side, I don't know if the lighting here in the video shows it very well, but you'll see that up here there's a channel. So there's difference with other roof racks. Other roof racks such as Front Runner, the Slimline, for example, will have up here on the top of the platform, on the side rails, it'll have a deep, let's call it a channel, where you can bolt other accessories. In the case of the base rack, you don't bolt accessories into the channel. Instead, the channel both on the side, it kind of like, there's kind of like a hole, let's say, it goes in, and on top of it, it's the same thing. So what most of the accessories do, and the mounts here, you can see them, they clamp onto the channel on the top and the channel at the bottom. So you can see this is the high lift jack side mounts. They're, you know, labeled ARB. So they attach and clamp really, really tight onto these side channels. So it makes your life much easier. Other brands prefer to have them bolt onto the top channel. It just depends a little bit on what you want to do. I think this is actually a faster method because you just, you know, tighten it from the top or the bottom with the screws, and you don't have to really like bolt and go into the channels as in other racks you need to. Some would argue it's safer to bolt them into the channels at the top. Could be, but I think if the side accessories or side mounts aren't that heavy, and in this case the high lift jack isn't or an awning isn't, then you're good to go if you just, you know, tighten them onto these channels. Now you might think, what about my LED light bar? It might not be as heavy, but I sure want to keep it, you know, as safe as I can to avoid, you know, the wind resistance or whatever from potentially blowing it away. You know, LED light bars can be expensive. If we come here, the base rack has custom mounts underneath the rack. As you can see, probably the video shows it better from this angle, and you will see it there. So this is, first of all, it's called the Slimline LED light bar by ARB. This is 36 inches wide. It's an ARB light bar. It's great. You can purchase it with the rack. We also sell it. But you can buy other LED light bars, and it's fine. Anyways, what I wanted to point out is that ARB comes with a specific mount for these light bars, specific brackets, so that it is much better attached and fastened to the rack itself, and it's not just holding onto the channels like the side accessories are. Another great thing about this roof rack is the fact that it comes with a wind deflector. So it is made on purpose so that it's as less noisy as it can be. Most roof racks are still gonna make noise. You have to deal with that as part of the thing, but this one is a very low profile roof rack, so there's less air you know, colliding against it or going underneath or on top of it, and the wind deflector that it already includes kind of like sends it towards the sides. Of course, if you include a light bar, it's gonna change slightly, and there's gonna be a little bit more noise, especially if you have a wider LED light bar, but the Slimline is perfect so that it's exactly the same kind of like length of the side of the rack, meaning that it's not adding any additional wind resistance, and it's still having the wind deflector have the airflow underneath it, as we already saw. Now let's go take a look on top of the rack, and you're gonna see why we love this rack. It's pretty cool. So this vehicle from a friend of ours from Expedición Costa Rica, we're filming this from Costa Rica. He has these fantastic Eezi designing solar panel. As you can see, and the reason why I mentioned that the horizontal slats are great, which also have these kind of like channels for clamping onto them if required, they're better because most of the mounting accessories, which you can see here, are now made on purpose so that you can just go around these horizontal slats and attach onto them. So this is the case of this particular solar panel. He also has a water tank over there that attaches in the same way, and he could install here a rooftop tent if you wanted to, because this is very sturdy. As said, fully welded. You can see the welding here. So it is a fantastic roof rack. As we said, once again, it can be not exactly vehicle specific, but the dimensions of these racks are going to change depending on the vehicle and the size of the roof. Now, it is fully welded, so there's another factor to consider here. It's not going to be very noisy, or rather not noisy at all, because there's no other hardware that can be vibrating with the vibration of the off-road trail you're in or with the speed that you're going. So it's a very, very quiet roof rack. Fully aluminum, high-grade aluminum, welded, 275 pounds of dynamic weight capacity, so that's when you're driving. Now, you might say, hey, but what's the setback? You mentioned there's a few things you don't like. Well, as I said, one of the things that, it's not that I don't like, but that I think are a factor to consider is these slats cannot be removed because they're fully welded. So if you have a sunroof or sort, just know that this is not a possibility. In other racks it is. And then finally, which is a problem for us at Off-Road Tents, definitely not for you as a customer, it is more expensive for us to ship it because this is a fully welded platform, so dimension wise it's bigger, so it's more expensive for us to send it to you, but that's not really your problem. Anyways, when you receive it, installation is going to be slightly easier because it's not all those parts and hardware and pieces. It's just one single big platform, which then you just use the bottom, or let's call them side panels or installation points or mounting points, which you just then bolt onto the rack, onto the roof of your vehicle. But essentially, ARB, you know, it's the Australian brand. They're giants in the overlanding industry. They've been doing it for years. They're really, really reliable. It's a fantastic brand. And the base rack, which is their newest roof rack, and it's an improved version of their older racks, is, you know, one of the best racks you can get in the market. So, you know, if you're in for a roof rack for your vehicle, you can get the ARB base rack. Once again, if you're interested in the ARB base rack, you can get it. Just click on the link below in the video description. Once again, this is Gianluca from offroadtents.com and offroadtents.com.au. You can find us on Instagram as Offroad Tents Official or Offroad Tents AU. You can find us on Facebook as Offroad Tents or Offroad Tents AU, and you can even find us on Pinterest as Offroad Tents. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.